Directly off of the already infamously creepy Blue Ridge Parkway sits an overlook that is really popular because of its incredible views. But that's not the only reason that it's very popular. Let's get into the strange light phenomenon that is said to happen at this specific overlook. Today I want to deep dive all into the Brown Mountain lights that occur at the Brown Mountain area of the Pisgah National Forest in North Carolina. So we're already on the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is really haunted, and then we're already in a national forest, which is just inherently creepy. So recipe for disaster, really. These strange lights have been spotted amongst the trees and in the sky of that area since the early 1900s. Now, when they're in the sky portion, it's kind of easy to just write them off as a star. Although they do some weird things, they'll do a little zigzag pattern and move around, and sometimes they even look like fireworks, but people are like, that's a star. And I think it's a little bit easier to write off that way, but sometimes they're spotted in the treetops, and that gets a little more tricky. Now, when these lights first started showing up, a lot of people were like, oh, it's definitely train lights because there's a train that kind of runs through that area. But when a flood happened in the 1960s, wiped out those tracks completely, and the lights still happened, people got a little suspicious. Now, some of the theories go that it is just random headlights of people driving around there, or it's campfires, but there's really not much civilization in the area that they're seen at. And the lights are also said to follow you around if you see them, so that kind of rules out a campfire. It still could be someone weird with headlights probably, but I just don't think so, judging on the movements that these lights are said to make. Because remember how I said sometimes they look like fireworks? Unless there is a headlight spontaneously combusting, I don't think that's happening. So the most widely believed theory about these lights are that it's aliens, and that seems to make the most sense. Now, these lights are peculiar and they're pretty widely known. They were talked about in a few episodes of The X-Files. They inspired a few movies about aliens. There's been songs written about them, but they have been investigated. Now, obviously, they've been investigated by private groups like alien hunters, ghost hunters, things like that have looked into them. But they've also been studied at nearby Appalachian State University. And here's the kicker. The United States government has looked into them. And as far as we know, they don't know what they are either. No one can figure out what this strange light phenomenon is. It happens sporadically. The most that they are seen is in the fall right after a rain, right at that Brown Mountain overlook. Now, I have visited this overlook several times. It's beautiful. It is so much fun. The last time I went, it was extremely crowded. I think there was some sort of meteor shower that day, so I didn't get to stay very long. But I did see something kind of strange when I did go. Granted, these lights could be a radio tower, but I've never seen a radio tower there in the daytime when I went, ever. So it could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. I'm gonna insert those videos at the end. I also wanted to encourage you guys to check out some interviews on here on YouTube. A lot of people have done that have spotted them, and they have pictures that they've captured, and they're really fascinating to look at and to listen to because a lot of people have seen these strange lights. It is extremely common. So if you're ever in the area, I do highly recommend that you visit. You don't have to drive the Blue Ridge Parkway to get there. You can take different ways. I'm not really sure what the way is. I know the first time we visited, we did not take the parkway. We did the second time, but I forgot how we got there. But it's a really pretty drive. You're driving through the national forest. It is creepy. Follow the rules of Appalachia in there because it is a forest. But it is really nice, and I do recommend you go. They have picnic tables there you can set up and have you some lunch, and it's just really nice. But that is all for the Brown Mountain lights. Here is the footage that I caught, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.
Let's get it.